Okay, so today we are going to discuss about interaction energy. And when I say interaction energy, it is nothing but the electrostatic potential energy. I'm writing it in short as electrostatic EPE, electrostatic potential energy of a system of three charges. And what we will be basing our discussion on today is what we discussed in the previous discussion, and that was regarding two charges. Okay, so what is a system of charges? First, a system of charges is nothing but a collection of charges. So here we are having three charges with us. So there is a charge q1, let's say, and there is another charge q2, and there is a third charge q3. And let's say the distance between q1 and q3 is, we can name these as some subscript. So let's call this r1, let's call this r2, and let's call this r3. Okay. Am I audible? Okay. So when more than two charges are there in the system, no, the interaction energy can be calculated by summing the interaction energy of all the pairs of the particles in the system. Okay. Uh, so by that I mean what we can do is we can think of this system which is in this final state at how it would be constructed. So let's go step by step. To construct this system, what I would have to do first, I would need to bring q1, right? So q1 I bring it here and I keep it. Would I have to do any work in just bringing q1? No work would be done, right? Because there are no electric fields by any other charges. It is the only charge which is lying there in the vacuum, so I can just bring it and keep it without any force to be applied. Okay. So there is no work done in bringing q1, so I can write this. So work done here I can simply write as 0 because there is no other charge which would be exerting force on it. Now let's bring another charge now. So when I bring another charge, let me try to bring q2 now. So I already have q1 here, and let's say q2 was initially at infinite distances, so it was not experiencing any force. And now what I try to do is I try to bring it closer to q1, and I eventually bring it at a distance of r3. Okay. So q2 is going in this direction. Definitely it will start experiencing from some electrostatic force Fe, which would be given by k q1 q2 upon x square, given that the any general distance x. Okay. And when we finally reach a distance r3, the work which we would be doing would be equal to what we discussed yesterday regarding electrostatic potential energy of a system of two charges. So we will be doing the equal work which would be converted into the potential energy of the system. So that would be equal to k q1 q2 over r3, right? So I would have to do this much work on q2 to bring it here, and when I do that much work, that get work gets stored as electrostatic potential energy of the system of these two charges q1 and q2. And why does it get stored? Because electrostatic force is a conservative force, and hence whatever work we do gets it gets conserved and it gets converted into the potential energy. Okay. So now we have brought q1 and q2 together, and that's fine. Now step 3 is the very critical step. Until now we have q1 sitting here, and we have q3 q2 sitting here, and they are at a distance of r3 from each other, right? Now there is another charge q3 which was initially at infinity, And now I need to bring it finally at this point where it is at a distance of R2 from Q1 and at a distance of R1 from Q2, right? Now, uh, so how can we do this? So there is something called as principle of superposition in physics, okay? And principle of superposition of forces. So think about this. When this Q3 is coming in we are bringing this in this direction. Initially, when we were bringing Q2, Q2 would be experiencing only one force, and that force was from Q1. But now that both of them are already, they have already arrived there and they're waiting, and then Q3 starts to come towards them, both of them would start applying force on Q3, right? So there would be one force from Q1, and let me call that as F13, denoting the force from 1 to 3. And there would be another force from Q2, let's call it F23, force from 2 to 3, Q2 to Q3. Okay. Now, what principle of superposition of forces states that so this principle states that the the overall effect of one or two or more forces is equivalent to the individual effects of individual forces. Okay, by that I mean, if I want to consider the overall effects of these two forces, what I can do is I can consider them individually, and when I add them up, it will nothing would be nothing but the overall effect. Okay, so we can consider them individually. And that's what we are going to do. This will simplify our problem. So rather than considering these two forces all together, which would be difficult, what we can do is let's talk about what would be the effect of F13 when we are bringing Q3 from infinity to R2 distance from Q1, right? Because F13 is the force applied by Q1. Now, again, when we do that, what happens is this problem, we are ignoring Q1, okay? So just you can think that you are not talking about Q1 anymore. We are only talking about F13, which is the force which Q1 is applying on Q3, and for time being let's ignore Q2. Okay, we'll think that it is not sitting there. So then we only have two charge problem at our hand, and that becomes like we have Q1 sitting here, we are having Q3, we are bringing it from infinity, and finally it would be at a distance of R2, right? And to bring it at a distance of R2 from Q1, we know that the work which we would have to do is would be equal to K Q1 Q3 by R2, right? So now we have got half of the work. So we can call this as W13. Now similarly, in order to consider the effect by force 2 3, what we can do is we can ignore the force 1 3 and consider only this. Now when we do that, the problem again reduces to this problem. We only have Q2 sitting here, and we have a charge Q3 which is initially at infinity, and we are trying to bring it at a distance of R1 from Q2, right? Again, we can derive the expression from what we discussed yesterday. So this work which I denote by 2 3, work done in bringing charge Q3 near Q2 at a distance R1, is given by K Q2 Q3 over R1. Now we know that work is a scalar quantity. It's not a vector quantity, and hence we can do a simple scalar summation. Okay, so we got so when we now think about this, so by principle of superposition, we can say that the overall work done in bringing charge Q3 under the influence of two forces, one from Q1, the other from Q2, in to bring it at a distance of R2 and R1 respectively from Q1 and Q2 would be equal to the sum of these individual works, right? So I can say that the overall work in bringing 3 would be equal to the work done in bringing 3 under the influence of 1 plus work done in bringing 3 under the influence of charge Q2, right? and that would be given by k q1 q3 upon r2 plus k q2 q3 upon r1. So this is the third work done. Okay, so we have got our, so in the step one, as we saw, uh, just bringing q1, we don't have to do any work as no one is exerting force. When we bring q2, q1 would be exerting force and we would have to do this much work. Whereas when you're bringing q3, both q1 and q2 are going to do work, and hence we add them up individually and we get this total work. Okay, now you see we are doing these three. I mean, obviously the first one is 0, but we have w2 and this is w1. We have done these individual works in assembling this system of charges. Okay, so we have done some work on this system to bring this in current configuration, and the work which we have done would not go waste because this is the electrostatic force is a conservative force field, and the work which we do in this field gets stored in the form of potential energy, and that potential energy is called as the interaction energy of the system or the electrostatic potential energy of the system. So we can say that the interaction energy or electrostatic potential energy of system of two charges, system of three charges, I'm sorry, could be given by W1 plus W2 plus W3. Now W1 was nothing but 0, W2 was nothing but K Q1 Q2 over R3, and W3 was given by K Q1 Q3 upon R2 plus K Q2 Q3 upon R1. So we denote this interaction energy or electrostatic potential energy as U, and we can say that U is equal to K Q1 Q2 over R3 plus K Q1 Q3 over R2 plus K Q2 Q3 over R1. Yeah, please go ahead. We got it from here. So K Q1 Q2 by R3. What we did was, in doing this system, what will you do? You will bring Q1 first, and when we bring Q1, we don't have to do any work, right? Because there is no force. Now, when we do next Q2 charge, Q1 will start exerting force on Q2, right? And that work. So since it is exerting force, we will have to do some work to bring it near Q1 at a distance R3. And that expression can be given by what we discussed yesterday with system of two charges. So this reduces to the system of two charges, and we can write this as K Q1 Q2 over R3. So Q1 is the first charge, Q2 is the second charge, and they're at a distance of R3 from each other. And that is the work done. The force would be K Q1 Q2 over X square in general. And if it is at a distance R3, it would be K Q1 Q2 over R3 square. R3 square would be the force. But what we are talking about is not force. What we are talking about right now is the work that we had to do in bringing it, yeah, in the work which we had to do to bring it here. And that this much is the only work we had to do. And all that work got stored in the form of potential energy of these two charge systems. In this step 3, now we had to bring Q3, and what we discussed was, when we are bringing Q3, we would have to do even more work, right?